everybody, JC here from Toy News International, and today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And today we're going to take a look at the new line from Tamashii Nations Bandai with their Star Wars movie realization line. The first figure released in this line is Darth Vader, which is who we're going to be taking a look at, Samurai Darth Vader to be exact. And the figure comes packaged in a pretty simple looking box type packaging. It's basically all black. You've got an image of the figure on the front. Up in the corner you have the movie realization logo, and then down below you have the Star Wars and the name of the character. On one side you have a close-up of the figure, and then on the other side you just have the name of the figure. You also can notice the Disney logo there. And then on the back we have a look at the figure in various poses with the accessories that the figure comes with, and then a bunch of writing that I can't really read. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so when you open the box, the first thing you'll probably notice is on the inside lid of the box there's a familiar quote, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." And then the figure is clearly displayed with all the accessories that it comes with in a white tray. And you can take the figure out real easy. The figure itself is about 7 inches. It's actually a little bit taller than 7 inches. The figure comes with a number of accessories. It comes with his samurai version of his lightsaber with the blade, and then the hilt without the blade, which attaches to his belt. There's actually a little clip on his belt that you can move in different positions. On the back of the box it shows the lightsaber kind of more of a sideways position next to his samurai belt that he comes with, or you can move it in a more traditional pose like you would typically see with it hanging off to the side. Besides the lightsaber, the figure comes with 4 different pairs of interchangeable hands. So the pair that he comes with are a pair of closed fists. He then has hands that are kind of completely open, almost like it's a force push type hand that you can use. He's then got like the force choking hold type fists that you can use, and then he's got fists that are made to grip his lightsaber. And the lightsaber can be held in both hands, or one hand, or either hand, however you want to do it. Change the hands out. Basically the hands are just attached with little pegs like we normally see with these kinds of figures. It can be a little bit of a pain to snap the new hand in, just because that peg is on a hinge joint and it tends to move on you when you're trying to push the fist in. So you kind of have to position it right, but once you get it, it snaps in. Okay, so the details on the sculpting on this figure I think are really nice. I don't know if you've ever thought about wanting to have a Darth Vader, a samurai version of Darth Vader before, but it's not really a big stretch. If you've ever heard George Lucas talk, one of the big inspirations for Star Wars for him was those old samurai movies. So it's not a big stretch here, and I think Bandai's done a really nice job with the sculpting on this figure and the details. I like the helmet. I like the little Imperial gold logo up at the top of the helmet, and then it's almost like they've sculpted an open mouth on his breathing apparatus on his mask. It almost looks like he's got teeth there, which is pretty cool. He's got some nice purple beadwork throughout the figure. On the front here, under his chin, you can see, and then again on the back of the helmet. So just some nice detailing there. I like the sculpting on his arms. They're just black, but they kind of pick up the light, so they almost have a metal look to them. So like a metal chainmail look to them. So I really like that detailing on the arms with the bumps and everything sculpted on there. And then on his chest, again, just nice really sculpting with the line work, and how they've kind of taken that control panel that you typically see on Vader's chest with the lights and the buttons, and kind of incorporated into more of a samurai looking armor. So again, I think that's really nice. So the skirt piece, there's actually 2 layers of it, and attached with the belt, and that's a separate piece from the figure. It doesn't appear to be removable, but it is separate, so it moves and has some flexibility. And then he's got a second skirt piece, which is more attached to the leg, it looks like. and it's got the gold Imperial logo again on it, which looks good. And then they've sculpted what looks like really like puffy pants for that, you know, samurai look. That's just solid black plastic. The boots, again, very weird looking, you know, how they've done like the pointy toes, but again, I guess that's in keeping with the whole samurai look. But nice detailing on the shoes and everything, with the, again, with the line work and everything. The cape of the figure is that, again, vinyl material, so it's got flexibility. There's actually a peg on his back, and then there's a hole on the back side of the cape, so that if you don't want it to be loose on the figure, you can kind of plug the cape into that peg on his back. So the peg is kind of funny looking if you don't have the cape on, but it does kind of help with the posability of the cape, which is nice. And you can pop the head off if you want to. It's attached with a ball joint. And you can see on the helmet that they've sculpted the back of the helmet is, again, that kind of vinyl material, and it's actually sculpted in several different pieces to kind of give it added dimension. So that's pretty cool. And then if you want to remove the cape, you know, you can pop the head off, and the cape just kind of plugs in. So you can unplug it if you want to remove the cape. And then you can just plug the head back in and pop the head back in if you wanted to. So you can have it without the cape if you wanted to. I think it looks better with the cape, but it is an option. And then the collar piece is a separate piece from the figure. Again, it looks to be attached. I don't think you could remove that, but it is separate from the actual figure, and it's, again, with that kind of vinyl material. So as I mentioned before, the figure stands at just a little bit over 7 inches tall, so he's not really quite in scale with like your 6-inch Black Series figures, though Vader is a tall dude, so you can kind of get away with it, but technically I would say he's not in scale with those figures. Okay, so articulation on this figure is pretty nice, which is what you would come to expect from these type of figures. The head is on a ball joint, as I mentioned before, so he can look left and right. He can look down a bit, and he can look up pretty good. And he can actually kind of pivot his head forward and back with that joint. So good movement with the head. He can get his arm out all the way, which is good. And he's got good rotation there. He's got 2 joints at the elbow, so he's got good bending at the elbow. And then he's got the hinged wrists. So he's got swivel at the wrist, and he's got up and down. The hinge joint itself is actually swivel, so you know you can pivot it swivels at the wrist, and then the joint itself with the hinge turns, so you can have the hand do it up and down, or you can turn it so it's got a sideways pivot as well, which is nice. The figure connects with a ball joint in the midsection, so he does, and that ball joint has a hinge, so he has some bending at the midsection, and he can look up. Now, the skirt piece kind of hides that joint, so depending on how you pose it, that joint does come exposed sometimes and can look a little funny, so just something to be wary of. But like I said, it's just a ball joint with a hinge. I mentioned that this skirt piece wasn't removable, but it actually is. You can pop the figure. If you pop the top half of the figure off, then you can remove that piece if you wanted to. And you can actually remove the crotch piece as well, which is hard plastic. But just to show you, and the legs are attached with ball joints. That's about as much as you can do the splits, though, unless you turn the legs, then you can do the splits more. But with the way the pants are sculpted, that's really about as much as you can do the splits. And then he can bend his knees about that much. He's got swivel at the knees. I think if I forgot to mention, he's also got swivel at the elbows. And he's got that ankle pivot. So all around, really good articulation on this figure. you can get him in some pretty good poses. So that's my review. I think this whole concept behind this figure line, this movie realization line, is pretty cool. I like the samurai look for Darth Vader. I think they did a really good job with the sculpting in detail. It's got nice articulation. I like the lightsaber, the kind of samurai sword lightsaber, which is really cool. I don't know if I mentioned he's got tethered at the bottom of his cape as well, which looks pretty nice. So just overall, lots of nice detail and a really cool concept that I think Bandai's done a really good job with. This is the first figure in this line. The Stormtrooper is the next figure that's getting this kind of samurai treatment. Seems to be definitely a popular line. This figure is pretty much sold out everywhere I've seen online. So finding it may not be so easy if you haven't already ordered one, but if you can find it, if you haven't ordered it already, I do recommend, and you're a Star Wars fan, you like these kind of like concept variant ideas, then I think this is one definitely to pick up. This figure is out now, so check your favorite specialty shops, and hopefully they might still have it in stock. If not, then you probably have to resort to something like eBay or something. But that's my review. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.